Hi, Virgo. My name is Darlene Dotson, and this is your Destiny of Truth for April of 2021. Virgo, in April, on the 1st to the 2nd, we've got Mercury in Pisces in the 7th house, sextiling Pluto in Capricorn in the 5th house. Yeah. You have been going through a lot of changes in your 5th house with children and your dating life, and you're not done. Pluto stays there for a while in your creativity. He's stripping away what no longer works so you can move in to a future that makes you happier, brings you more joy with your children, in your dating life, or your creative projects. Now, and it is sextile Mercury, and it's Pisces, okay? So you're going to be communicating emotionally within partnerships about things that aren't working for you, whether it's your children or whether it's your dating life, or you could be communicating with partnerships about a creative project that you're working on. Then on the 3rd, we've got Mercury entering Aries in the 8th house. And you, with Mercury in the 8th house, you're going to be communicating more about maybe death, taxes, transformation, self-care, because it's Aries, and you're going to be dealing with these things and communicating and writing about it because, all I can say is death happens to all of us, and we have to deal with the things in death to prepare, you know. So, not saying you're going to die, I'm just saying that we have to communicate more on how to prepare things for when it is our time, and about self-care and self-love. Now, on the 6th, we have got Venus in Aries in the 8th house, sextiling Mars and Gemini in the 10th house. Now, with Mars in the 10th house, you're taking action for something you're known for, okay? And you could be going in more than one direction with it, or have a dual purpose. It's Gemini, it's the twins. So there's more than one way to go. And it is Venus in Aries in your 8th house. And Venus being there, you're loving yourself. And that has to do whether over it's sexual matters, it could be death, transformation. I almost want to say it's transformation though, because, it's the 8th house and it's Aries. That's the house of self. So you're, loving yourself, and you're doing your thing, and you're communicating it and showing people your power, and you're doing it in more than one way. And then on the 9th, we've got Mercury again in Aries in that 8th house, conjunct Chiron in Aries in the 8th. And you're healing those 8th house issues that you have, the behaviors that you learned, that you know that you're responsible for. You have to love yourself first. And you're learning this because you know now that people didn't love you the way that you needed to be loved. And in the process, you are going to have to communicate with others about the scars that have been left on you, okay? About those deep issues that are within, in order for you to transform yourself and your life and heal your life. Then we've got Mars in Gemini in the 10th house. And again, you could be going in different directions with something that you're known for, or it could have to do with your father, or it could have to do with your employer, or your own power. You're going in different directions. And it's squaring Neptune in Pisces in the 7th, though. And it's, again, it's illusions within your partnerships. You have been dealing with this for a while. You're learning that the partnerships that you have chose have been based on an illusion, okay? They've been based on deceptions, not everything being on the up and up and being out there. There's a lot of things within your partnerships that aren't working. But again, Virgo, you allowed this. You're a very powerful person. But when you allow these people into your life, you don't keep your boundaries, and you're definitely learning that you've got to keep your boundaries, and that your actions you've got to be responsible for yourself and the power that you use. You can't give anybody else power over you. Then on the 10th, we've got Mercury in Aries in the 8th house again, sextiling Saturn in Aries in the 6th. You have been restricted, whether it's been in health, whether it's been in your work life, or with pets. It's like you just can't move forward. You feel like you're stuck on a treadmill running and can't move forward in this area. Well, on this day, you're going to be able to start moving forward through communications. And again, this is an 8th house issue. So again, it's going to be, I think, a very transformative issue within you about your health, or about moving forward in a way that allows you, okay, to go back to work. I mean, this is up to you. Then on the 10th, we have got Venus in Aries in the 8th house, sextiling Jupiter in Aquarius in the 6th house. And Jupiter is expanding what is different. What's not normal, what is unusual in your work life. There's some definite issues happening, but you can overcome them on this day. If you go after and show compassion and love to those that you feel most intimate with, or, giving yourself care first in your intimate relationships, okay? And then, you can expand on your health this way. Then on the 11th, we've got Venus in Aries in the 8th, squaring Pluto in Capricorn in the 5th. There's good old Pluto again. He has been stripping away things that aren't working with your children, your dating life, or your creative projects, just not working, and it's Venus. and it has to do with your most intimate relationships that you're trying to transform, and you're doing it aggressively. Okay, you're not gonna let people not love you in the way that you deserve. Okay, you want stability here. You want a foundation that is built practically. Okay, and jumping into things never got anybody anything practical, because jumping in is what's got you in the mess that you've been in into the past. So you're transforming this area of love, with your children and your dating life and your creative life, because you're not willing to jump in quick anymore. You want that stable foundation. Then we've got a new moon in Aries on the 8th. Okay, and yes, while there's a new beginning in that transformation, you are going to have to deal with Pluto again, squaring that new moon. Okay, and Pluto again is telling you there's things that have got to go in those areas of your life, in order to transform those relationships that are important to you and are your most intimate. Then on the 13th, we've got the Sun in Aries in the 8th house, sextiling Mars in Gemini in the 10th. Here again, you're shining your light on your intimate relationships, self-care, loving yourself, physical health. You're putting, everything into shining your light in that area. And because of it, it's sextile Mars in Gemini on that day. And you're showing people how powerful you are and how adaptable you are, that not everything has to be just one way. There's different directions that you can go, to transform your life. Then on the 14th, we've got Venus entering Taurus in the 9th house. Venus entering Taurus in the 9th house, okay, you want stability, you want, a firm foundation, whether that's in religion, philosophies, with a foreigner, doing advertising, marketing, higher education, but whatever it is, you're going to love doing it, okay? Then on the 15th, we've got the Sun in Aries in your 8th house. Again, you're shining your light on your most intimate relationships, and it's expanding that 6th house of your work life, okay? You want to do something that's more caring in that area of your life, to show people that how much that you do care for others. It could be a charity, expanding issues within a charity that maybe you work for, or expanding, health issues that are happening, around you because of someone, who, how can I put this, who is used to having things their way. Then on the 16th, we've got the Sun in Aries in the 8th house, squaring Pluto in Capricorn in the 5th house. And again, you're stripping away what doesn't work in your dating life, with your children, or your creative world. Pluto's not going to let the same old keep on happening. He wants you more stable. He wants you to be more grounded. And that is square that sun, okay, in Aries in the 8th house. And pretty much the self-care, you know, or in your most intimate relationships, okay, and you dealing with things in that area is, how can I put this? You're going to have to get over some issues there in order to make whoever you're dating happy or your child happy or bring your creative projects to the forefront. And then on the 16th through 17th, we've got Mars in Gemini in the 10th. And that's trining Jupiter in Aquarius in the 6th house. Again, Jupiter is expanding those work issues, those health issues, or small pet issues that are unusual. They're different. They're not the everyday norm. And because of it, you're having to put your action and going in different directions, maybe more than one direction, with an employer or with your father or, you know, in your own power. Then on the 17th, we've got Mercury in Aries in the 8th house, sextile Jupiter in Aquarius in the 6th house. And again, you're expanding those 6th house issues, work issues, health issues that are different, that aren't the norm, okay? And it has to do with a communication issue. And you got to deal with this aggressively, to deal with other people's money, you know, or to deal with, trying to think, other people's money, or to transform a communication endeavor, you know, because the 8th house is all about transformation. But communication and self-care have got to be transformed in order to transform this health issue or this work issue that you're dealing with. I mean, you have dreams there in your health or with your work life, and the only way you're going to get it done is by communicating. And again, Aries is still on the 17th, communicate in Aries in that 8th, and now he's sextiling Mars in Gemini, and you're going, okay, to go put your energy in more than one direction to show people just how powerful that you can be in communicating and transforming things. And again, you're transforming that communication in your most intimate relationships by looking at yourself in order to deal with those issues that you have with your children or in your dating life or your creative projects. Then on the 17th or 18th, we've got Mars in Gemini in the 10th house, okay? And that is in conjunct Pluto in Capricorn in the 5th. And Pluto is like a rock in the shoe an inconjunct is like a rock in the shoe that you can never get rid of. You got to figure how to live with it. And that's the communication, your aggressive communications that you have either with your children or in your dating life, you know, or in your creative projects. You probably need to step back with that. I mean, yes, you can go, you have a very fast type personality. You can do more than one thing. And your power, whether it's your dating life or your children, okay, they're not agreeing with what you want to do, but you also have to remember it's your life. Then on the 18th, we've got the Sun in Aries in the 8th, and it's conjuncting Mercury in Aries in the 8th. And all I can say is please go exercise, go do something on the 8th to get rid of this aggressive energy, because this is an explosion waiting to happen in your most intimate relationships. Then on the 19th, we have Mercury entering Taurus in the ninth house. And that for you, things are going to be more calm now. The stability, Mercury is saying you're going to have to work hard. Don't get me wrong, for the things that you value, but you're going to have to communicate your philosophies, your religion, your marketing, higher education. These are the things that you need in order to make you stable. And you're going to have to communicate those things. Then the Sun enters there, and you're going to be shining your light here for the next month, whether it's education or marketing or philosophies or religion, advertising, traveling, okay? But it's what you need to make yourself on a firmer foundation. Then on the 22nd, we've got Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus in the ninth. And here again, with it being the ninth house, you are having to make changes in those philosophies, or make changes in what you think about religion, or what you think about advertising and media, or a foreigner. There's a definite change that's going to be happening in this area, education, and it's going to be a change that you love, okay? It's going to bring more value to your life. Then on the 23rd, we've got Mars entering Cancer in the 11th house. And here you're going to be putting your energy in to your family and what's important to you for that firm foundation that you want to build with your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, and your friendships and the groups you belong to. Okay? It's up to you to build that foundation that you want. Nobody else can do it for you. Then on the 23rd or 24th, we've got Mercury conjunct Uranus in Taurus in your ninth house. Well, didn't we just do? No, that was Venus. You're going to be communicating with others about the changes you want to make, about the things that you value, okay? And that's philosophies, religion, education, marketing, foreign, travel. But there's definitely changes coming here, and there's going to be communication over this. And it's going to make a firmer foundation for you. Then on the 24th and 25th, we have got Saturn squaring Mercury. Venus. Venus is in Taurus in your ninth house, and Saturn being in Aquarius in your sixth house. You have got some restrictions happening in your work life or in your health or with the small pet. And it's different. Okay, it's not anything like you've seen before. You're just being restricted, and there's nothing you can do about it. And because of it, you're loving what you're finding out about your philosophies, about your beliefs, okay? These are the things that are going to put you on that firm foundation that you want, whether it's of your mind, education, advertising. There's so many things ninth house can do. Then on the 25th, we have got Mercury in Taurus in the ninth, squaring Saturn in Aquarius in the sixth. Again, you're being restricted at work, whether that a charity project's restricting you, something different is restricting you, something unusual like you've never seen before, and you got Mercury there in Taurus. You want to communicate, you want to be put on a firmer foundation with those ninth house matters: advertising, publishing, higher education, marketing, travel, government. But the government, it could be another thing that's keeping you from working. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic, okay? Or, the structures that be are keeping you from, restricting you in an unusual way that is not allowing you to work, okay? Such as a disability. Then, okay, on the 25th, we have Mercury in Taurus in the sixth, conjunct Venus in Taurus in the sixth. And all I can say is communicate in a loving way, because there's going to be a lot of harmony there about your health or about your work life or your pet. You're going to find a lot of love and harmony on that day. Then on the 26th, we've got a full moon in Scorpio in your third house of communications, and that's opposing the sun in Taurus in your ninth house. Okay, and pretty much there's going to be an ending to a communication endeavor. And I don't know if it's an actual ending or if it is just something that's ending for you in the way that you communicate your philosophies to others. But you're ready to shine your light on traveling and things like that. And there's an ending to the day-to-day issues in your life. Then on the 27th, we've got Pluto in Capricorn in the fifth house. Okay? And you have been making a lot of changes when it comes to your children, your dating life, and your creative life. Well, now you're going to be able to look at all of this and see, is this working for you or not, or if there's got to be some more changes that happen. Then on the 29th, we have Mercury in Taurus in your ninth house, sextiling Neptune in Pisces in your seventh house. And you're going to get more clarity about what you want and where you want to go, okay, with these partnerships. And you're just going to have the clarity, or you're going to see partners for who they are at a higher level. Then on the 30th, we've got the sun in Taurus in the ninth house, and that's conjunct Uranus in Taurus in the ninth house. And that you're shining your light, okay, in the ninth house matters: publishing, broadcasting, advertising, traveling, your higher mind, education. And there's going to be changes there that happen because of all of this. So that is your forecast astrologically, Virgo, for the month of April. There's a lot of changes again happening with your children, dating life, and creative life. And it does have to do with, the issues happening at work for you or in your health, and how it's changing you at the most intimate level of who you are, because you're not one for repeating things. You want things to heal. Now, I am going to tell you, I am using the Work Your Light cards, okay, for the month of April. Okay, so let's shuffle them and see what they got to say, Virgo. Okay, Virgo, it's Lemuria. It's about creating heaven on earth for you. Okay, you have always been a worker. Okay, there's no denying, Virgo, that you work hard, but now it's time. I have a saying. Okay, create a life that you don't need a vacation from. And that's what you're trying to do. Okay. You're having to look at things in your health and in your work life and create a life that you don't need a vacation from, because you want to be happy. You want to find that joy. Because you can create heaven on earth. And, you can find harmony, okay? And you're devoted to creating the harmony on earth that you feel in your own soul. And, it's sometimes, Virgo, you can take on too much and you get overwhelmed by everything that you sing in the news, and it makes you emotional. But you can't let that overwhelm you, okay? You have to create the world that you want to live in, okay? If you want good things in your life, then you've got to create it, because you know that patterns and behaviors are what puts you where you're at in life. And the only way that you can create the life you want is by changing behavioral patterns that you have in order to create what you really truly want, and not what you were conditioned. Um, you know, you're not alone. Even though you may feel like you're alone at times, you're not alone. You're just having to deal with issues from your past that have been holding you back intimately. Okay. And it's, you've got to do what's right for you, but you've also got to have boundaries, and you also have to teach your children about boundaries. You know, and know that you can build the life that you don't need a vacation from, at work, in your home, you know, in your community, wherever you want. You can build that heaven on earth, but you got to build it by creating the life that you don't need a vacation from. And other people like their lives, you know, and they're always going to try to hold you right there because they don't want things to change. But if you're not happy and you want things to change, then you've got to create the life that you want, that you don't need a vacation from. And it's time for you to create your own heaven on earth. Well, Virgo, that is your month for April. I hope it helps you, and I hope you have many blessings, and I'll see you in May. I love you. Bye.